What's going on, you guys? I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper 512, and welcome to another edition, and welcome back to Mob Week. On today's episode of Back in Time with Mr. Grimreaper 512, I'm going to be taking you back to 1990. As we take a look at the final iteration of the Godfather trilogy, Godfather Part 3. Now, of course, you know the Godfather Part 3 is the final film written by Mario Puzo and Francis Ford Coppola, and is directed by Coppola. It completes the film, the story of Michael Corleone. We get a chance to see what happens in this film, and we get a chance to see what goes on after the events of Part 2. And Michael, who is now in his 60s, is Michael, who is about to be 60 years old, is going through a pain. Is going through all kinds of hell after killing his brother in the last movie, after killing his brother Fredo in the last film. I think he is racked with guilt. He is racked with guilt about being so ruthless, with what he has done. Michael and Kay during this time are divorced, and their children, Anthony and Mary, are adults now. They're grown adults now. There was a couple of stuff. There was a couple of things I liked. There was a couple of things. There was a couple of things I liked, but we're gonna before we get into that, we're gonna talk about. Okay, so as always, this film was directed by Francis Ford Coppola. One more time, this film was also produced and co-written by Francis Ford Coppola, and the individual that wrote the book, the novel of the same name, Mario Puzo. This film stars Al Pacino, Diane Keaton, Talia Shire, Andy Garcia, Eli Wallach, Joe Mantegna, Bridget Fonda, George Hamilton, and Sofia Coppola. So during this film, we see a lot of stuff. We see a lot of shit in this film. And we see what goes on with Michael as he is nearing 60 years old. He is nearing 60, and he is, as I said before, he is racked with guilt over his rise to power as Don. There is some parts in this film. There's some parts in this film where before I get into spoilers, I just want to warn y'all guys again. If you have not seen this movie, go pick this shit up. Go pick this movie up. Please go pick this up if you have not seen this movie, and come back, because I'm going to give you guys a bunch of spoilers in this too. So with that in mind, we're going to talk about this. So in 1979, Michael Corleone is going through a bunch of stuff after what happened with his brothers, after ordering his brother's assassination. He's trying to be a good man in this film. He's trying to donate to donate to charitable to charities. He's trying to during this time, Michael and Kay are divorced. I guess Kay had enough of it. Kay had enough with what was going on. Their children, Anthony and Mary, live with the mother. Michael finds out that Michael finds out that his son Anthony is leaving law school and wants to become an opera singer. Kay is supportive of it, but Michael wants Anthony to be either a lawyer or join the family business. Michael and Kay, during the first two movies, they kind of sort of had an on and off relationship with each other, and they're and Kay knows the truth. Kay knows the truth about what happened with Fredo, and that's why she left, because she had enough with it. Vincent arrives at the reception. He is pissed off with a guy by the name of Joey Zaza. I'll talk to you about him later on in this movie. When Connie arranges for Vincent to meet Zaza, who calls Vincent a bastard, Vincent bites Zaza's ear. Although Michael is troubled by Vincent's fiery temper, he is impressed by his loyalty, so agrees to include him in the business. Knowing Archbishop Gilday, head of the Vatican Bank, has accumulated a massive deficit, Michael offers the bank $600 million in exchange for shares in International Immobiliare, an international real estate company, which would make him its largest single shareholder with 6 seats on the company's 13-member board. He makes a tender offer to buy the Vatican's 25% share in the company, which will give him controlling interest. Immobiliare's board quickly approved the offer, pending ratification by the Pope. Okay, so we see a guy by the name of Donna Altabello, an elderly New York mafia boss and Connie's godfather, tells Michael that his partner on the commission want in on the Immobiliare deal. Michael wants the deal untainted by mafia involvement and pays off the mob bosses for the sale of his Las Vegas holdings. Zaza receives nothing, and declaring Michael his enemy, storms out. Altabello follows Zaza, saying he will reason with him. Minutes later, a helicopter hovers outside that is in the conference room and opens fire. Most of the bosses are killed, but Michael, Vincent, and Michael's bodyguard, Alneri, the very same asshole that killed Fredo in the second film, escape. Neri tells Michael that the surviving mob bosses made deals with Zaza, but Michael realizes that his Altabello, who is the traitor, suffers a diabetic stroke and is hospitalized. Michael recuperates. Vincent and Mary begin a romantic relationship, while Neri and Connie give Vincent permission to retaliate against Zaza during a street festival hosted by Zaza. Wait a minute. Okay, I want to ask a question. Isn't Vincent and Mary, like, hold on, let me see real quick. Aren't they related to each other though? Like, I thought that they were cousins. That's what kind of messed me up when I watched this, is that Mary and Vincent were together, apparently, that they were together in this film, I guess. But that kind of messed me up. It's kind of weird. That, I don't know. But anyway. Let's see, where am I? During a street festival hosted by Zaza's Italian-American civil rights group, Vincent kills Zaza. Michael berates Vincent for his actions and insists that Vincent end his relationship with Mary, explaining Vincent's involvement in the family's criminal enterprises endangers her life. Of course it endangers her life. That's why That's why Michael did a good thing with that. The family goes to Sicily for Anthony's operatic debut in Palermo at the Teatro Massimo and stay with Don Tomasino. Michael tells Vincent to pretend to defect from the Corleone family in order to spy on Ottobello. Ottobello introduces Vincent to Don Licio Lucchese, a powerful Italian political figure and Immobiliary's chairman. Michael discovers that the Immobiliary deal is an elaborate swindle conspired by Lucchese, Gilday, and Vatican accountant Fred Keinzig. Michael visits Cardinal Lamberto, further to become the next pope to discuss the deal. Lamberto persuades Michael to make his first confession in 30 years. Michael tearfully confesses that he ordered Fredo's murder, and Lamberto says that Michael deserves to suffer but can be redeemed. Which, that part, when he talks to the cardinal, when he talks to that guy, that part, I was kind of feeling bad for him. I was feeling really bad for Michael, because he wants to try to make things right. He wants to make things right after what he did, after the BS that he pulled, for what he did to his brother, for what he did to Fredo. And I think that he's trying to make things right. But every time, as he said in the film, once I think I'm out, and I quote, once I think I'm out, these son of a bitches pull me back in. But okay, so Ottobello hires Mosca, a veteran hitman, to assassinate Michael. Mosca and his son, disguised as priests, kill Don Tomasino as he returns to his villa. While Michael and Carrie tour Sicily, Michael asks Kay for forgiveness, and they admit they still love each other. Michael receives word of Tomasino's death, and at the funeral vows never to sin again. After the Pope dies, Cardinal Lamberto is elected as Pope John Paul I, and the Immobiliary names him the new Don of the Corleone family, telling him to adopt the Corleone family name. Vincent ends his romance with Mary. Okay, so the family sees Anthony's performance in Cavaliere Rustigere, while Vincent exacts his revenge. So several things happen in this film. Several things happen. We see Kinzig is abducted by Vincent's men, who is smothered and hang from the bridge. Don Ottobello, at the offer, is given poison by cannoli by Connie, who watches him die from our opera box. Callo, Tomasino's former bodyguard, meets with Don Lucchese at his office, claiming to bear a message from Michael. As he whispers the message, Callo stabs Lucchese in the neck with his own spectacles. The Pope is served poisoned tea by Archbishop Gilday and dies after he approves the Immobiliary deal. El Neri travels to the Vatican, where he shoots Archbishop Gilday. So a lot of death happens in this. But the final scene when Michael, Kay, Anthony, and Vincent, when all of them are coming out of the theater, the opera house, Mosca Mosca pulls the trigger, thinking that he's going to pull the trigger on Michael, but he kills Michael's daughter. This scene alone was heartbreaking, because you see him screaming in anguish after watching his daughter get shot by a jackass, and then we come to years later on, in elderly Michael, that final scene with him sitting down, just enjoying the air outside in Sicily. then we finally see the final nail in the coffin when Michael has a heart attack and dies. He slumps over. He slumps over in his chair and falling to the ground. And he has a heart attack and dies. I cried like a baby when I watched Mary get killed. I cried like a baby when I saw that scene, because I saw Michael during this whole film. He's paying for his sins. You can see it. You can see what's going on with this. He's paying. He's paying for what he has done. He's paying, trying to pay back the people that he hurt in his life, and he's struggling with guilt. He's struggling with pain. He's struggling with trying to get out of a situation that he put himself in. And what I like is that this dude did what he had to do. This dude did whatever the cost that he had to make his life better. But he's paying for it. Yeah, he told Connie and Vincent when he was laying in that bed that he did not want to have nothing to do with this anymore. That he didn't want to have nothing to do. He didn't want them to have anything to do with the murders, with the killing, the all this stuff that's going on. He wanted it to stop. And people give this last one a lot of flack. But I still believe this trilogy deserves more fucking accolades than it got. I believe that this trilogy was the greatest trilogy to ever come out of a film. This film was shocking. This film had shocking moments. This film told a good story, even though there was some pacing issues. Yes, there was pacing issues. This film was still one of the most dramatic crime films in the history of cinema shot, and it shows. It completely freaking shows. That's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. And I love this movie so much. I love this trilogy so much. But I want to hear from you guys. What do y'all guys think about the trilogy altogether? That's going to be it for me. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2. Let me know in the comments what y'all guys think of the Godfather trilogy and all that. And if you have a classic film or classic television show that you want me to review, let me know about that in the comments. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2, and I'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.